What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Nalo Kicking Knowledge. I hope we're all enjoying these lovely days of summer. I hope we're all enjoying Leo season. We got a nice release from that full moon. But anyway, what I'll be talking about today is the Lizzo situation and giving my little 1-2 on it. You know, I want to take a look at her chart. This conversation could go a lot of places. I have a lot to say on it. So let's get into it.
I gotta do me. I gotta help people.
You don't think you're cool? You think you're a dork?
I do think once a nerd, always a nerd. Seriously, it doesn't matter what happens. I've been a nerd for so long that like I can't really outgrow it or shake it.
Lizzo was once Melissa Jefferson, a Houston teen with talent to burn.
Not having stuff for a long time, and now I got it. Like, I'm going overboard. I'm literally Santa Claus. I'm really good at giving gifts, by the way. I literally am Jolly Saint Nick. Birthdays too. Like, I'm the best in the game.
Very thoughtful gifts.
Yeah, I'm too good.
I've had a lot of people over the last couple weeks reach out and ask about my classes. My classes are always going on. It's really contingent on the people and, you know, when schedules permit. So if you're ever interested in taking an astrology class with me, they're always going on. All you have to do is reach out to me via email. Let me know, hey, what's your teaching schedule for this week? In my classes, we do stuff like this. I've covered Lizzo's chart maybe over a year ago, you know, with the class, because like I said, we just flow through the zodiac. We're talking about different things. I'm bringing different things into the fold. Let me catch anybody up who may not be aware. So it came out this week that Lizzo, and keep in mind the full moon was squaring her Taurus stellium, that Lizzo may have allegedly been taking real advantage of her dancers. And there's all these different reports of her body shaming them, which is a real kicker, just being very unkind, bullyish with her authority, things of that nature. You can go look it up if you're not aware of this. I'm not here to like say this is true because it's all alleged. But what I want to unpack here is, I guess, why this can be true and why people's stories matter. So the first place I want to start here, keep in mind, if you guys don't know this about me, in addition to being an astrologer, I was a full-time middle school teacher for 9 years. I know children. I understand that really helped enrich my psychology of children and the different personality types and so much more. And then even cooler, each year they all become adults eventually. So I've been able to really see, oh, this kid was like this in 7th grade and now he's a grown-ass man, and kind of be able to understand how certain qualities translate and all of that. So if anybody knows anything about Lizzo, you know that she was not a popular child. She was teased and didn't feel like she necessarily fit in. But here's what we always have to keep in mind. Every person that's not popular doesn't want to be popular. Some people truly don't give a fuck. She identifies herself as a nerd. Most nerds I know grow comfortable with, I really am a nerd. If being a nerd consists of being interested in these things, oh, well, fuck it. And they own their nerdiness. Every individual will be different. But what I'm trying to get at with you is that there are people who their school experience left them with a lot of things unfulfilled. Now, this is great. This is fucking awesome, because realistically, those people are the ones who go extra hard because they have a chip on their shoulder. And these really are the people that add significant things and achieve significant things in the world. So when you learn more about life, you realize we all have a trauma, and some people's trauma has to do with their early school experience and never feeling good enough. And this can be something that drives them. And it's very understandable. Those people who have things left undesired, when they get power, you really have to watch these people. It's very much the same as someone who's been molested. You're going to have someone, it falls on two extremes here, 12th house shit. If you've been molested or you experience some type of deep trauma, you either have the person who goes, oh, I never want anyone to feel that way, how I felt. So if I ever get some power, I'm going to level the playing field, or I'll serve and be that example for those people. And that's the kicker. That's the Neptune thing here. The outside portrayal via Lizzo's endeavors, the TV show, and everything that she does and her brand speaks to that. Then on the other side, which can be the shadow of this side, we have the person who's, they can't wait to get some power. They can't wait to be in a position where they can return back the energy that was given to them. But here's the problem with this. There's only a select few people, or there's realistically, it's a specific people that traumatized you. More than likely, the people you then take advantage of when you have your power aren't the same people or even the caliber of people, but that exists, that traumatized you in the first place. It's typically you doing the same to a person who was once you. And y'all, if you have been through anything in life in which you're placed in that position, choosing the better outcome, or not better outcome, what I was saying, like more mature outcome, is the best way to balance and transcend the particular karma. I'm letting you guys know, if someone gets cheated on, if you get cheated on, you have all rights, if you want, to go ahead and cheat on the same person that cheated on you. Or in the future, if you want, I've been cheated on, so it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna do it. That's not really a wise answer. It actually just further propels karma. So I say all that to say this, and I hope I'm making sense here, y'all, that, like I said, we don't know if this is true, but based on the little bit that we do know about Lizzo and the things she's affirmed, how she feels about herself, how she feels others feel about her, she either falls on one side of the spectrum. And it's kind of like both. So like I said, in this instance, the sun sign, the ego expression of this being, is doing that. Right? They're showing in the light body positiveness. You know, I'm here for you. I look like you, this, that, and the third. But in the shadow, where the shadow always exists, and it's kind of like it's like a test. You've been given this power. How do you use it? Right? These are possibilities that exist. So I wanted to point that out first and foremost. So the next part that I want to acknowledge, and you always have to acknowledge this, and that's why I love being a Gemini, because we see all perspectives. So let's say this is a conspiracy. Let's say some shady shit is going on behind the scenes, and let's just hypothetically say Lizzo done fucked up with her handlers, and they're like, oh, you got to pay for this, right? And this is the backlash. I'm trying to show y'all something here. If this is an attack of manipulation, this is exactly what you would do. You would attack the very thing that the person is all about. We're able to do this because Neptune is in Pisces right now. So no one is going to give this enough thought to really see it through as to whether or not it's true or not, because more than likely this will be handled in a lawsuit settled out of court. And really the only backlash that'll come is if the core Lizzo fans, if they care about this enough, okay? And Pluto and Sag, yeah, this could have been the end of your fucking career type shit, like showing immoral character and all of that. But these days, I think you get it all. So what I'm trying to say here is that this could be a humiliation ritual for Lizzo, okay? And I'm gonna use myself as an example. I, Gemini Brown, if you ever hear them saying I molested a child, 100% cap, straight trying to take me down, all right? Never, never. It's just like there's no desire there. The understanding of I'm not doing this is completely intact. Not even a quote unquote 17-year-old. You know what I'm saying? So if you ever hear that, you could come back to this video and know that I let y'all know what these motherfuckers be doing. So just to reiterate, this may not be true. This can be a complete manipulation and attempted tarnishing of Lizzo's reputation. And essentially, this is how it works up on them levels. So, you know, true knowledge is knowing you really know nothing at all. So you definitely want to keep that in mind. Now, the next part I want to get to the astrology. All right, people. So what we're going to do here is take a look here at Lizzo's astrological chart. She is a Taurus goddess. And I just want to say that from the rip, I see Lizzo here energetically as a blessed individual, big goddess energy here, okay? But that doesn't dispel you from your actions or how you may conduct yourself. But I just want to look at this energetically for what it is. But this is someone who's achieved big things in life. So you have to understand that there is a layer of bigness to their personality. Even in the clip I played earlier in this video, she's like, I overdo it to some extent. And that's just a natural part of her being. So I want you to keep that in mind. So let's start here with this wonderful conjunction here. Sun, Jupiter, and Mercury all conjunct in the sign of Taurus. And this is receiving wonderful mutual reception here between Mercury and Venus. And if you don't know, mutual reception is when there are two planets residing within each other's sign. And this is just really good. Mercury is here in Taurus, in Venus, in the Mercury decan of Taurus. So even more exalted per se, getting support from Jupiter. And as we've been talking about these last few weeks here, we don't necessarily want planets close to sun. If any planet you want close to sun is Mercury, but I just like the distance here of this conjunction. All these planets are well spaced, right? So they have room to operate. So wonderful energy here. And what we can see here, just from the Sun Jupiter aspect, this is someone who speaks their mind. They have something to say. And whatever they say, they want it to be felt, and they want it to reflect their core being and values and beliefs. So I love Jupiter in Taurus. I feel like in the big scheme of the zodiac, y'all, which I try to show you guys, that there's varying levels to this. We have the personality level, we have the soul level, and then we have the spirit level. And on a spiritual level, Jupiter in Taurus, what we're all being privileged to right now is a wonderful influence in terms of invigorating the spirit and living in a particular way. So this Jupiter here is very much supportive with Mercury and Sun. And then I told you Venus is here in Gemini. So the energies are very much so interacting with each other in a way in which they're able to get their point across. They're able to uh, be seen, right? Now, Venus has this Chiron right next to it, Venus conjunct Chiron. So, like I said earlier here, Gemini relating to early childhood, the school experience, friends. All right. So there's already a wound here. Then when we look at the moon, more Mercury. So we're seeing a very mercurial Venus person. So the life is about others and somewhat learning from them, as well as expressing, like I said, that Jupiter and your other thoughts and beliefs. But initially, we're seeing a wound here in the early experience of bonding and making friends. So then when we bring the moon here, which is squaring that, these are our memories. These are things that stick with us. They're part of our conditioning. So I'm going to let you guys know how I see it straight up. This is someone who is holding on to the past and fixed energy. There's a fixed stellium here. So that's already showing that we're rooted in our ways per se. And then when we look at the moon, Venus here in Chiron, we could see where a certain fixedness or defensiveness may have developed. And there's nothing wrong with that, because as we see her, Lizzo's a Virgo rising, and as myself as a fellow Virgo rising, I'll let you know one thing I feel like I took with me from my childhood is like, stick up for yourself. Like, if those who don't stick up for themselves continuously get taken advantage of. So once you show others like, yo, I ain't afraid of you or whatever, it helps. So based on her circumstances, would probably just been constantly teased or, bothered or not able to fit in, develop a certain defense mechanism. And this square here, I'm sorry, can come across as very defensive. And then when we couple that with the conjunction, there may be an inability to see where one isn't a victim if they're already used to have always being the victim. Okay, that's major. Then the next layer of this square here, which is just revealing a lot, is that this is feminine energy. So this is dealing directly with the source of one's ascension. Like, she got other women to gather around her and support her movement. That's who, she targeted and represents. But at the same time, a natural conflict with, feminine and how you feel subconsciously. Always keep that in mind, guys. The moon is representing your subconscious or your soul and certain patterns and beliefs that you carry in with you. And when you examine that, you'll see where those beliefs were conditioned and developed. I believe here that Lizzo carries a natural defensiveness, which becomes like a protection. But at the same time, there's a desire, particularly with a square, to want to mend this area. But then there's more difficulty, and it's not to say, it's all negative. We're just really looking at the reality of what this energy presents. Okay. So then we bring in this T square here, anchored by Mars, a planet of conflict and strife and war. So this Mars here pretty tightly squares this Taurus stellium, as well as Pluto, which opposes that. So, oh man, for some people, you know what this is? I probably got to find the clip. All my life, I had to fight. This feels like, damn, everyone's against me, or everything I do is a problem. The sixth house representing like your obstacles on an everyday basis. Mars in Aquarius indicating fitting in. And let me just highlight this real quick because even my own daughter has a sun square Mars. And I've seen, like I said, through teaching and things of that nature, people with this aspect. The child may perceive it could be this way, that the dominant parent, could be the father or just the more authoritative parent, feels like that parent may try to assert too much control over them, or just honestly, there can be a natural conflict with how the child wants to go about things and how the parent sees how the child should go about things. And a lot of times you got to look at it like your parent may be able to see something that you can because they've been raising you, right? So there's this conflict, and then if the father figure isn't there, there's a real problem with authority. But needless to say, how this manifests into the adult life, this is one of the aspects for being a difficult person. Or like I'm telling you, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like this with a certain of these people when the energy is like this. Mars in Aquarius can be more rebellious. It can be that like you'll be, say you're around these people 5 days in a row. Within those 5 days, it's not all harmony. There's going to be something throughout the interaction. It doesn't have to be consistently, but it'll come up that, like you and the person may get into it in some way. And it could just be a simple them not complying. But I'm telling you, Sun Square Mars does present this difficulty with others. Now, the Sun aspect of how others perceive the Sun Square Mars person overall can be as impatient, childlike, right? Because remember, Aries, first house, first sign, Sun exalted there. So when Mars and Sun get together, we kind of want what we want when we want. Then there, depending on what the sign and house is, you may be seen as controlling. That's why I wanted to go back to Venus Moon square, that Virgo Moon, if you're real with yourself, you like to control situations, particularly for yourself. I, as a Virgo Moon, don't necessarily care to try to control others. I just try to control what I can control within myself, right? But I can say that when a person feels like, all right, I'm going to lead here and I don't want anyone to try to like undercut me, they may try to come off authoritative as a way to not be taken advantage. That can be a possible way. But like I said, the person may not be perceived how their energy is coming across. So within that, I say all these allegations are very, very, very possible. But we shouldn't look at it that, little Lizzo is an automatically terrible person. These are the things for certain people in their charts that they have to go through in order to grow. I could say on a smaller level, there are men and women out there who attract partners that they treat this way. So they're that person. They may not be like this in the workplace. The Venus there in the 10th house, your workplace, Mars, the workplace, your workers, all conflicts here. So another person may not be like that to the world or even to their family, but in a one-on-one sense, they may treat their partner cruel. But it's like we're all learning lessons here, because at the same time, the person receiving the treatment has to stand up for themselves. So it's happening for them to learn as well, type things. So ultimately, I'm saying if this turns out to be very true, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. But everyone makes mistakes. If it's all true, I'll be disappointed because, like I said, that person who felt that, who was treated those particular ways, should never make the same type of person that they were feel that way at their own hands. But nonetheless, I also wanted to say the Jupiter is a big thing here within all of this. Jupiter amplifies everything that Sun is doing, right? And the Mercury connection enhances the square aspect playing out. So the Chiron could have been anywhere, but it's conjunct the planet of others, which is then square the moon, which is representing femininity and feminine and all of that. This is just a way where, from what I see, Lizzo's been through things in her life which conditioned her a particular way to become a better version of, let's say, herself, like on the sun level, to be able to be fearless and confident. Those conflicts made her that way. You will see this a lot, this type of T square here with Pluto, Mars, malefics, and all of that in the charts of lots of millionaires, billionaires, very successful people, because that chip on your shoulder can go a long way. Highlight that she's going through her Jupiter return here, and all of this came out at a full moon, which squared that stellium from the 12th house. Things like this, where your Jupiter having your Jupiter return can be a result of literally having overdone something, taking it too far. It will be interesting to see how this story further develops. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you thought. Until next time, peace.